Good evening, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, Honorable Eugene Hamilton, Honorable Akila Byron Nisbet, Mrs. Lynn Bass, and Madam Moderator Jacqueline Barrett. Good evening. Thank you for having me on this evening's program, Leadership Matters. Today, March 15th, is being marked as Equal Pay Day for women. It is not a day to celebrate, as we have far to go to close the gender gap. I sit here this evening in my capacity as board member of the St. Kitts Nevis Chamber of Industry and Commerce, an organization with a long history in our federation, which was established in June of 1949 to serve the needs of a post-war, growing local private sector in an economy that was dominated by sugar for over 200 years. The Chamber is a membership organization of businesses and professionals working together with a mission to improve the standard and quality of life of all people within our Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We have approximately 132 members spanning some 18 sectors, of which 46% are either women-owned or led businesses. Our commitment to equal opportunity for all goes across genders. In this regard, we've been leading by example, where we have increased the number of directors' positions held by women. We have had long-serving female directors, executive directors, namely the Honorable Wendy Phipps and Mrs. Brenda John. In 2020, we had the first female president of the Chamber, Mrs. Giselle Brisbane Matthews, who assumed the role during one of the most difficult periods in our history and who led the Chamber by giving stellar service in advocating and working with government to see the reopening of our economy during the lockdown period of this pandemic. My journey has not been inhibited as a woman. I grew up with entrepreneurial parents who owned multiple businesses. My mom with a boutique, restaurant, and a confectionery wholesale shop, and my dad, a hotel, a furniture manufacturing company, a furniture outlet store, and a real estate business making prefabricated houses. My role at a very early age was to conduct sales and to ensure that at the day's end, it tallied with sales with the cash receipts. By age 11, my interest in business had peaked. I started my very first business where I would sell hot donuts outside my mom's boutique on a Saturday afternoon. And if I forgot my own money at home, I would wait until someone would loan me $1 to allow me to purchase a donut to eat. I knew then that to realize a profit, I could not eat from my sales. My summers meant not only spending time at my mom's boutique, but also spending time in the southern part of the island with my dad at the hotel, and there again, I would be responsible for end-of-day sales at the hotel's restaurant. I would eventually move away from the family business to attend university in Canada at St. Mary's University. By the time, I knew I wanted to follow in my parents' footsteps to become an entrepreneur. But I knew a formal education would further guide my journey. I earned extra income at university by selling dolls to Caribbean students and making the most of the school's free transportation to offer them delivery options. Returning from university and my first day at Natalie Associates would see my shortest tenure in the firm. My dad terminated my service on the first day because I took the liberty of arriving to work 2 hours late, since I thought it was the family business, and he felt he had no time for slackers. And no amount of crying could get me rehired. That was a wake-up call. With no job in sight, I started what I had learned from my mom. I began cooking for government offices, preparing sandwiches and cakes for morning break and lunch meals. By the time I entered the public service, my mom was able to continue the catering company I had started. Not all my startups were success stories. I had taken a loan to operate an ice cream vending machine, and since I was unable to be there full-time, my ice cream attendant outsmarted me by using her own cones from my stock of ice creams to make sure that she sold her cones first, and thereafter she would sell my cones. I noticed it too late, and so at the end, to balance cones from my stock used daily with revenue collection proved fruitless, and so I had to close this enterprise. This was a huge loss, and I was left with a $30,000 debt and no income being generated from that business. My dad, whom at the time could have easily paid off my debt, did no such thing. And this would become one of my greatest business lessons today. And so, as I moved into a new chapter, I used these experiences along with those from my positions held at the Development Bank and Ministry of Trade in St. Lucia, and in St. Kitts at the Eastern Caribbean Securities Exchange and the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. These would assist me in developing my capabilities and managing my entrepreneurial journey. I started dreaming weddings with an idea and the opportunity to take that idea and grow it into multiple destinations, which I did with the grace of God. By then, I had learned to ensure that I conducted market research before I invested in another new idea. The internet at the time provided me with a level playing field as I was judged on my delivery of service, customer satisfaction, and not on the size of my office space or the number of employees. As a self-confident woman, the challenges I faced in growing a multi-destination business across 13 Caribbean countries have been more cultural, as society places roles on what women ought to be doing. While I am happy to be a woman, I found that once you start making inroads into a male-dominated business arena as a woman, you are deemed aggressive. At times, my posture may even make men uncomfortable, but I have learned to balance my style by not being too soft or too strident, but at the same time being true to my authentic self. I continue to keep abreast with other areas of interest, namely corporate governance, real estate, investments, and leadership. As a board member of the Chamber, I will continue to advocate for female empowerment in the workplace. I would like to challenge us all in St. Kitts and Nevis, as well as the wider Caribbean region, to adopt a similar approach as that of the UK government in the Hampton-Alexander Review by proposing standards whereby at least 1/3 of all board positions be designated for women, along with the same percentage, 1/3, for executive leadership positions within 5 years. And as I close, I want to implore all women, if you believe in yourself and are passionate about your craft, to give entrepreneurship a try, as this is a much quicker and more effective way in ensuring that we bridge the pay gap across genders. Break the bias. Thank you.
And thank you